All right, everyone. It is 11 o'clock, and I am so pumped to do this workshop for you today. We're going to be talking about how to create a study routine that you'll actually stick to, even if you are a chronic procrastinator. So, you are in the right spot right now. If you just started college, I know for a lot of students, college started either at the beginning of last week, so the 27th. A lot of students are starting this coming Monday. And then there are some students that have been in classes already for like 3 weeks. So this is for you if you really want to hone in on how to really see success this semester and create a study plan that works for you, one that you can stick to and actually helps you to achieve the kind of grades it is that you want. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So just bear with me 1 single second so that I can pull up the information that I want to share with you, obviously. And of course, I had it up earlier and I accidentally closed out of it, but we'll get there. We will get there. Okay, so if you're watching live, say hello. Tell me where you're watching in from, what your major is, what you're studying in college right now, what year you are. Introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are and where you're from. It seems that I have lost what it is that I need. It seems that I have lost what it is that I need. So just bear with me 1 second. See if I can pull it up here. Hey, Tracia, nice to meet you. Hi, Marieli. Everybody who's on right now, I'm just trying to bring up my slides. So just give me a second because I am using a Mac computer and it keeps opening up the slides on a different desktop in Mac for some reason. Okay, I think I got it. All right. All right, yes, I have it. Here we are. Okay, so I am going to maximize the screen in a second, but first what I'm going to do is stop my video so that you guys are not being distracted. Okay, so how to create a study routine you'll actually stick to even if you are a chronic procrastinator. So what I want to teach you today is how to find the time to study, get A's while living your best life so that you don't have to sacrifice your GPA in order to get good grades. In order to have fun while you're in college, or so that you don't have to sacrifice your GPA to get engaged or have a part-time job or do the things that really bring you joy. I'm going to teach you how long you should be studying for and the secret to knowing if it's safe to stop. We're going to talk about the secret to overcoming procrastination because that's the biggest thing that keeps a lot of students from sticking to their study routine. and also how to use my 3-step study method to build a study routine that works and you'll actually stick to. So I want you guys to make sure that you stay tuned, because I'm going to show you exactly how I built my own study ritual that took me from failing out of a bio major to graduating nursing school with honors while working 2 jobs, maintaining my relationship with my now husband, and spending time on my hobbies, growing my business, which is called She Rocks at College. And before we start, make sure that if you don't already have a pen and paper handy, that you take it out right now, because you're going to be doing some exercises as we go through. I'm also going to give you some examples of study activities that you should be including inside of your study routine that's really going to help you get higher grades while studying less. And start thinking about how you can apply what I talk about today to your semester right now, because your situation is unique. You have a unique background, you have unique goals and unique circumstances. And I want to make sure that you're getting the maximum value from today's lesson. And if you have any questions as we go along, just pop them in the comments. I, at the end, am dedicating time to answer all of your questions. So if you have them, make sure that you put them in the comments. Now, this study routine that I'm going to walk you through today, I've taught to hundreds of college women at this point. College women who have gone on to graduate with honors, get reinstated into programs that they had previously been kicked out of or had been put on probation. They've earned scholarships. They've gone on to get into graduate programs that they never thought that they would qualify for. And today, you are one of those lucky students who's going to get this for free. And I like to keep things really simple and straightforward. I want you to notice that there is a very particular kind of student who would even click on this kind of a video on YouTube or show up for this kind of a webinar. So I want you to take a moment and be really proud of yourself for showing up and caring about your success in this way. This is something that you clearly are interested in, and it's something that you clearly feel like you need at this point in your college experience. And I want you to just take a moment to mentally set an intention for what you want to get out of this workshop today. Go ahead in the comments right now. And what's the one thing that you want to walk away with at the end of this workshop? What's the one thing that you want to feel confident with at the end of this workshop? Go ahead and leave it in the comments right now. But I also want you to do me a favor, okay? This is like the one thing that I'm going to ask of you right now. And it's, instead of checking Instagram or watching another YouTube video in the background, or watching Facebook or doing something else, I want you to chat with me instead. Stay engaged. Ask all the questions in this chat and show up for yourself. I'm taking 2 hours out of my Sunday, which is my time with my husband, to really show up for you today. So I want you to show up for yourself as well. And don't allow yourself to get distracted. Start applying the discipline that you're going to need throughout the semester right now during this workshop. And I have to throw in a little bit of a grade disclaimer because I think it's really important for you to know what I stand for. And what I'm going to teach you today is not some BS surface level crap that you're hoping will take you from F's to A's overnight. There is no such thing. But I want to tell you that I know what it is like to cry the night and morning before an exam because you know you're not prepared for it. I know what it's like to desperately need to pass this upcoming exam because you failed every single one up until this point. And you're like at the point where if you don't pass this, you might as well withdraw or you're going to get an F from the class. I know what it's like to lose scholarships because your grades weren't where they needed to be. I know what it's like to be put on academic probation. I know what it's like to disappoint people like my parents, who supported me through school, in the sense that they really encouraged me and what we're hoping for the best. I remember sitting on Sunday nights for 12 hours before an exam, trying to catch up on like 15 chapters worth of reading because I waited until the last minute, trying to comb through 150 pages worth of PowerPoints and not knowing what to focus on and being so overwhelmed that the only thing that I could do was cry because I knew the next day I wasn't going to understand any question that was on the exam. I wasn't going to understand anything that was going on. And that was it. I know how embarrassing that is. I know how embarrassing it is to show up to study groups and be the only person that has no idea what's going on. I know what it's like to go to office hours and have your professor talk to you condescendingly. I know what it's like to feel like the dumbest girl in the room. But today, I'm going to show you how to avoid all of that. I'm going to show you how to find the time to study and live your best life. How much time you really need to spend studying. The secret to overcoming procrastination. What to put in your study routine using my signature 3-step study method. Imagine if at the end of this workshop, if you applied the skills that you're going to learn today, you jumped by 10 points on your next exam. Or what would that mean to you? That if you went from a C to a B on your next exam, what would that mean for you at the end of the semester? What scholarships, grad and professional programs would you be able to qualify for because your grades went up? How much time would that knock off of your graduation date? I know that you're smart enough, talented enough, and worthy enough for college and life success. This is possible for you. I'm not some anomaly. I am not a genius by any means. My goal is to remind you of your brilliance and how easy academic success can be for you. And so my goal for you here is to save you time from wasting hours on YouTube watching Study With Me videos, hoping that they're going to motivate you to study. My second goal for you is to help you to avoid the trial and error of study skills so that you don't have to fail classes, withdraw, waste money retaking classes, rack up student loans, have to push back your graduation date, or waste your summer retaking classes. My third goal for you today is that if you are a student who's already getting A's and B's, but it's taking up your whole life to do it, to achieve it, and you're sick of it, I'm going to show you how to study smarter so that you don't spend the next 2 to 4 years with your head in the books, so you can actually have a life without sacrificing your GPAs. I'm showing up for you today, so soak all of this in. And if you stay until the end, I promise you that not only will you have an idea of how to build a great study routine, but I'm also going to give you my study ritual creation cram sheet, which is my step-by-step guide to show you how to create a study routine to raise your exam grade by at least 10 points. And it's currently valued at $27, and you will receive it for free just for being on this workshop today. So hello, everyone. In case you don't know who I am, this is my beautiful face after I had makeup on. And my name is Clarissa Rodriguez. I was the smart girl in high school, the quote unquote smart girl in high school. I graduated second in my class. I was voted most likely to succeed. Everybody knew that I was going to go on to medical school and become an OBGYN. I got into every college that I applied to, a lot of them with full rides because of my academic standing. But by the time I was a junior in college, I realized something. Graduating second in your class when you are from an inner city high school meant jack freaking squat. And I learned that after I had failed out of or had to withdraw from over 7 classes just at one university. This wasn't even counting the classes that I tried to take over the summer at a different college, at the community college, that I still failed. That was me. When I graduated college, before I switched majors from biology, my GPA was a 2.7. And to rub salt on the wound, my academic advisor, who I sat down with my junior year, when I told her my plans were to go on to medical school, she said, I don't think you have what it takes to succeed in the medical field. Have you ever considered teaching? Which you and I both know that this is code for, sweetie, that's real cute, but you're not smart enough. Why don't you try something that's more on your level? And you know what? I believed her. I know better than anyone else what it's like to step into a lecture hall and feel like the dumbest girl in the room. A week later, I changed my major to health policy. And thankfully, I developed an amazing relationship with my advisor from that major who encouraged me to never let anyone tell me what I could and could not do. So I decided to apply to nursing school to become a labor and delivery nurse because no one was going to stop me from delivering babies and doing women's health. Determined never to feel that stupid again. I read every book, website, article, research study, anything that I could get my hands on that would help me to stop feeling dumb and overwhelmed because I didn't know how to study. I grasped. And I applied it to my nursing school prerequisites. That summer, I did my own experiment on myself to figure out how to get good grades. And you guys know what happened? I ended up getting into nursing school. Not only just getting into nursing school, but with a 3.8 GPA. Taking a lot of the same courses I had failed out of back in my bio days. Taking a lot of the same courses that advisor told me I wasn't smart enough for. I know what it's like to go from failing to passing. I went on to get invited to the Honor Society every semester and later graduated nursing school with honors while working 2 jobs. That was full-time while I was going to school full-time, maintaining my relationship with my husband, starting a business, and living my best life. And I want you to know something. My IQ did not change. But what did change was my belief in myself and my study skill level. By having the right support and encouragement around me, the right mentors in the form of books and people, and learning the simple study method that I'm going to teach you today, I finally felt smart and in control of my college success and was able to achieve what felt impossible when I started college. And it's going to be weird for me to say this to you right now because it sounds like I'm bragging, but I know that I'm a study routine creation expert. I've worked with hundreds of college women at this point, college women just like you, and I've seen them make these kinds of improvements in their grades and their lifestyle while in college. And because of that, because of the success that I have helped other students achieve, I can say that with absolute confidence. Getting better grades is a skill you need to learn. And it's a skill that I'm going to teach you today. But I'm going to give you some truth right here. This is not for the lazy college girl who is more committed to living in her excuses and feeling sorry for herself than she is to finally seeing success. This process of me researching and reading and doing trial and error took me about 4 months and 2 years to master, which means that I had to commit to my own success. I had to commit to succeeding no matter what. It was going to be inevitable for me. I didn't care how long it took, but I was going to achieve it. I was going to figure this crap out. That's the kind of attitude that you need to have. If that's not you, you might as well just close out of this right now because this is not going to work for you. My goal for you today, though, is to fast track you and give you an advantage without the trial and error, the struggle, wasting time and money, and frustration trying to figure out how to succeed in college. And if you're ready to learn today and apply what I did, you're going to start seeing an increase in your grades right away as soon as you start applying this stuff consistently. Imagine what would happen if you knew what to do every time you showed up to class, read, wrote notes for a chapter, and sat down to study. What makes the way that I built my study method different than everyone else is that it works and it's freaking simple. I'm not going to overcomplicate things. That's not my jam. Any student who is on here who has ever worked with me, you let them know in the comments that I don't do complicated. I don't do all of this fluff stuff. Like, all I teach you how to do is build a study routine that actually works. It's also based on the science of learning, on neuroscience. tried and tested methods that people have done over the years, hundreds of years, that has been proven to work time and time again. I also take into consideration your life experiences, your priorities, and your self-growth comes first to me. I want you to build college into your life, not the other way around. I don't want you to have to fit in your life into your college schedule. I want it to be so that you're fitting in college into your already amazing and incredible life. That's my goal for you. And let me just point something out right here. Who else is really taking the time to focus on you and teach you how to create your own unique study routine? Tell me. All of the YouTubers that you watch, who actually takes time out of their weekend to do workshops like this, to connect with you one-on-one, to really show up for you? But I'm here for you. So let's build your study routine. This process first has to start with us talking about procrastination and the secret to overcoming it. There are only 3 main reasons why college women procrastinate. And I'm going to tell you what those 3 reasons are, and then I'm going to go into the details. So reason number 1 is they lack motivation. They don't see the point in things. Reason number 2 is they fear failure, or they have perfectionistic tendencies. Reason number 3 is they don't know how to start or what to do. All of your procrastination tendencies can be overcome with one simple question. Why? Why am I avoiding this? What is getting in my way? Why am I procrastinating? Why don't I want to do this reading? Why does this feel so hard? Why am I avoiding this so much? Why can't I sit down to do this? If you actually took the time to really dig deep and actually answer that question, you will find that it relates to one of the 3 reasons that I just mentioned. You lack motivation, so you don't see the point in taking these classes or doing the assignment. 2, you are such a perfectionist that you fear failing, and you fear that if you put in the work, it's still not going to be good enough. Or 3, you just don't know what to do and you don't know where to start, which is something that's really common. So let's dive into this a little bit more. Lack of motivation. To have motivation means you have a motive, and a motive just means purpose. So you need to find out what that motivation is, because you cannot rely on other people to motivate you. No one else freaking cares about your life. Everybody's busy with their stuff. No one cares. So you need to find the motivation for yourself. What is the purpose of this for you? Why do you want this degree so bad? Why do you want the degree so bad? Why is it important that you pass these classes right now? If there is no point in it for you, you might as well just drop out, which is okay. College isn't for everybody. And I don't mean to say that you're not cut out for this, but I generally mean that it's not for everybody. It might not be where your heart is, and that's okay. But if it is where your heart is and you just lost the connection between why you enrolled in the first place, you need to reconnect to it. Create a vision for yourself. What would college allow you to do? What kind of life will it allow you to live? What kind of opportunities will it open up for you? And you need to write that down and post it up next to where you study, or put it as a background on your phone. And anytime you lack motivation, read that stuff over and over, because the motivation will come right back to you. But you have to stop. You have to stop trying to find it outside of yourself, because it's never going to be there consistently. The only place it's going to be consistently is within you. So find out what is motivating you to be here in the first place. The second reason why students procrastinate is because they fear failure. And let me tell you something. Failure is not that big of a deal. Okay, after failing out of over 7 courses plus, it's not that big of a deal. I'm still standing. I survived. Failure is just feedback. It's just information. Information that you can use to your benefit. Information that you can use to become the best version of yourself. Information that you can use to pass that next exam. But if you dwell in it, if you let it consume you, you'll never see the gift that that failure gave you, which is the information to use to create something better. The third reason why students procrastinate is because they lack skill. Simply, they just don't know how to start. They don't know how to read the textbook. They don't know how to write the notes. They don't know how to get through the problem. That's okay. It's such a gift to realize that that's the reason why you're stopping. Like if you sat down and you asked yourself, why don't I want to write this paper? And the answer is, well, I don't even know how to start the research process. Boom. Figure it out. Like go get some help for it. When I realized that I didn't know how to study, that I didn't know how to read the textbook, how to write notes, when I didn't know what I needed to write down, what was important to write down, when I realized that I didn't know what to do with the notes after I wrote them, it was like a huge aha moment for me because it had nothing to do with whether I was dumb or smart. I just didn't know and I needed someone to teach me. And can you relate to that? Can you relate to any of what it is that I'm talking about? Have you ever felt like this before, or am I alone? Where you can relate to having procrastinated because you didn't know where to start, or having procrastinated because you were afraid that even if you wrote this paper, it wasn't going to be good enough. But here's the beauty. When you hand in that paper and you get those marks back from your professor, now you know what they expect. And now you can do 10 times better on the next paper. That's how I see it. Like, great, tell me everything I did wrong so I can fix it for the next time. It makes college more interesting. It makes it more fun. It makes you feel like you actually want to be there when you view it all in this way. So that's what I want to leave you with. So if you can relate to this, and if you're not alone, if I'm not alone, my 3-step study method that I'm going to walk you through right now will make it so that you're never confused about what studying for an exam should look like, how to write your notes, and what to do with them, and the study guides or practice exam or homework assignments that your professor gives you. So the first step to actually creating your study routine, now that you know the reason why we procrastinate and now you know what to do with it, is first finding the time to study. So tell me in the comments if you can relate to this. I used to think that I don't have the time to get good grades. I don't have the time to work and manage school. I don't have the time to hang out with my friends and manage school. There is just not enough hours in the day. Can you relate to that? I don't blame you because I had those thoughts. And it's natural to have those thoughts. My number one goal today in this part of the workshop is to reveal to you how you're currently spending your time and help you spend it better, so that it's more aligned with getting better grades and having more free time. Today, I'm going to show you how to rapidly confirm if you're too busy and how to create the time to achieve everything you want. If you feel like you do not have enough time, you have 3 options. Number 1, you can cut down on the amount of unit hours that you take in one semester. So instead of taking 12 credit hours, you can take 8, or you can take 5. But if you're anything like me, where you relied on financial aid to pay for college because you lost scholarships, then you know that this isn't an option, because most financial aid requires you to be in school at least 12 credit hours. Or maybe your goal is just to graduate in 4 years and you're like, nope, I am not extending my time here. I want to be done. I'm not going to, go part-time and extend my time in college. But that's an option. The other option you have is to cut down on the amount of hours you work. And if you're supporting yourself through school, if you're paying to live, You have an apartment or a house, a mortgage, kids to take care of, yourself to feed. This is also not an option. So then what is the option that you have? Well, if you feel like you don't have enough time, the only option you have left is to cut down on the amount of hours that you spend studying. But if you're listening to me right now and you're thinking, Clarissa, I already don't have enough time. So how am I going to cut down? I need more time to study. Then you're in the right place, because we're going to talk about that. But first, I have to let you know, okay? I have to get real with you and tell you that you actually have a lot more time than you think. You're just not utilizing and leveraging your time. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. So I told you to have those pens and papers ready. And if you have a smartphone, bring up the calendar on your the calculator on your smartphone, because we're going to do some math. Okay, so here's the reality. Every single one of us has 168 hours per week. Okay, that's it. 168 hours per week. Now, there are a few essential things that we all have to do to be functional human beings. And those things are sleeping, eating, traveling, like commuting, errands, and hygiene related stuff. Your first task is to figure out, on average, how much time each week you spend on doing these things. Now, I'm going to give you an example so that you can follow along with my example if you choose, but I highly recommend that you actually do this with your own hours, with your own lifestyle, because like I said, everybody has unique circumstances, everybody has a unique situation, everybody has different things that they value. So you might not be sleeping 8 hours a day, whatever, but I just want you to go through this exercise. So let's pretend that you do sleep 8 hours a week. So that's 8 hours times 7. That gives us a total of 56 hours a week that you're going to spend studying. Let's say that on average, it takes you about 14 hours a week to eat all of your meals. So that's 2 hours a day that you're spending eating. That's not available to you. Then you spend about 7 hours commuting to and from school or to and from work. And let's say that, like, between life things that you have to do, cooking, doing errands, etc., it takes you about 7 hours a week. And let's say that it takes you about 7 hours a week to go through your morning routine and night routine, where you're like taking a shower, brushing your teeth, putting on makeup, getting dressed, doing stuff so that you are presentable to the world. That's just 91 hours gone from the 168 hours that you get every week, which means that you still have 77 hours left. So even with sleeping and eating and commuting and doing chores and cleaning up after yourself and whatever, you still have 77 hours a week that you can do whatever you want with. But of course, we're in college, right? So let's talk about the college student who maybe works part-time. But goes to school full-time. So that's 12 hours a week that you're spending in class. And that's about 25 hours a week that you're spending doing part-time work. So remember, we had 77 hours left from like just doing the essential day-to-day stuff. And now we need to subtract the fact that we're going to be in class for at least 12 hours. And we're going to be working 25 hours. That still leaves you with 40 hours a week. So it is BS that you don't have enough time. You're literally lying to yourself every single week. What's happening is you are wasting time. You're wasting time watching a YouTube video trying to figure out how to write this paper. You're wasting time distracting yourself with Netflix because you don't know how to start. You don't know where to start. You don't know how to get through these math problems. You're wasting time thinking about everything it is that you have to do and not actually doing the work. You literally have a full work week left to study. So it's BS that you don't have enough time. You're wasting time because you don't have the skills. You're wasting time because you don't know what to do. And that is a normal thing. When we don't have a plan, when we don't know what to do, when we don't know what our next steps are, it's really easy to waste time. But again, that's only a part-time student. You might be a part-time worker. You might be thinking, Clarissa, I go to school full-time and I work full-time. There's no way I have any time to dedicate to studying. Like, I'm tapped out. Well, let's take a look at your schedule. So again, you're left with 77 hours a week and you're in class for 12 hours and you're working 40 hours. That still leaves you with 25 hours a week. So it's even BS for you that you don't have enough time. That's literally, if you wanted to pick up another part-time job, you have 25 hours to do it. 25 hours to spend with your kids, 25 hours to study. You have the time, you're just wasting it. But I don't want you to have to spend 40 hours studying. And I don't even want you to spend 25 hours a week studying. I want to cut down on that time for you even more. And the way to do that is to learn the study skills that are really effective. Because what you lack in skill, you will always make up with time. I'm going to say that again. What you lack in skill, you will make up with time. What that means is when you don't know how to do something, you waste a lot of time trying to figure it out. When you don't know how to do something, it takes you twice as long to get it done. So what you really need is not an organization system. You don't need another planner. You don't need another to-do app. That's not what you need. What you need is to learn how to study. Because if you knew what to do every single time you sat down to study, you wouldn't waste time. If you knew what you needed to do when you were in lecture, 70% of your study time would be done in lecture. And then you'd only have to study an hour or two outside. But all of that I'm talking about happens when you have the right skills. So this is where my 3-step study routine comes in. But before we get there, I want to talk about a student that I worked with named Ashanti, who was one of the students that I described. She was working full-time and also going to school full-time and was really struggling trying to balance the two. And she and I worked together for a semester. And she said, since working with Clarissa, I noticed that I'm very organized now. I don't miss any assignments because they're all listed for me in one place. I know how to plan out my time so I can maximize my day. If I ever fall off, I know it can be done. She's equipped me with the tools to catch back up. So let's talk about my 3-step study method. This is the core foundation of learning how to learn. When you learn how to learn, it will not matter what the topic of the class is. How many hours you have to study, it won't matter. Because you're going to be able to understand the information with ease and retain it. So let's dive into my 3-step study method. So again, this is really important that if you have your pen and paper, that you take it out right now, because I'm literally giving you the building blocks of building a study routine. So if you're someone who's saying that you don't have a study routine, you don't know what you should be doing when you're studying, how do people even succeed in college? This is what you want to pay attention to. I'm going to tell you what the 3 steps are first. So the 3 steps are a framework. Within the 3 steps, there are activities that correspond with the 3 steps. So what you want to write down right now is what the 3 steps are. And then you want to write down why they're there to begin with and what things you can do for each of those steps. So step number 1 is called exposure. This is where you're going to spend about 70% of your study time. Step number 2 is testing to make sure. You're going to spend about 20% of your study time doing this. And step number 3 is called relearning. You're going to spend about 10% of your study time doing this. So let's dive into each one of these steps in detail, why they're even a part of the study routine, why you need them as part of your study routine. And then I'm going to give you examples of what you can do for each one of these steps, okay? So step number 1 we talked about was exposure. And before I dive into it, I want to talk to you about one of my students called Jean Marie, who applied this 3-step study method that I'm about to teach you and saw incredible amounts of success. So Jean Marie, it was a 50-year-old student of mine who I had not this semester that passed, but the semester before. So she was in the fall 2017 class of study school. And she was really struggling because she was switching majors. She was going back to school for a different career. And she thought that she was too old to be in college. She thought that she wouldn't be able to catch up and keep up. And she thought that she didn't, it was going to be hard for her because she was older. And she said, I was struggling with organizing my time efficiently and study skills. Since working with Clarissa, I have been able to have effective study skills by using the syllabus as a guide for what to study, blocking out specific time in my week to complete work, and using past exams as study guides for finals. And she's also learned how to create an effective study group. I did exactly what you suggested and brought my grade in biology from a B- to an A-. So like I said, if you actually show up for yourself and apply these skills, what's going to happen is that you're going to jump by at least 10 points if you actually do the work. So here we go. Step 1 is exposure. So the first step to any study routine, any learning process, is getting exposed to the material you need to learn. Somebody has to teach it to you. You have to read it. You have to see it. That's a given. Like, you can't learn something if you don't know what the thing is. So somebody actually has to expose you to the information. This is probably the easiest step of your study routine, but it's the step that students get stuck on and hung up on the most. It does not matter how you choose to receive the information. It is your choice. You can choose to show up to lecture and get the information that way. You can choose to read the textbook and get the information that way. You can choose to pay for a separate online biology program and get the information that way. It doesn't matter. The point is that you need to expose yourself to the material that you need to learn. Choose the best style that vibes with you, that feels good for you, that you prefer, that makes the most sense for you. Your only job in this step is to figure out how you want to receive and make sense of this new information. So what can you do to expose yourself to the material? So you can think of exposure as showing up to lecture and taking notes, reading the textbook and taking notes, watching a video and taking notes. It's just exposure. It's that initial part of the study routine that you're all familiar with. It's you writing your notes. It's you showing up to lecture. It's you re-listening to a lecture. That's all exposure is. It's built in already. Like, most of the time, we don't even have to think about this step. It's just a given that it's going to happen for the most part. The way that you optimize this step is by taking advantage of the lecture time and doing prep work before you get there so that you don't have to worry about studying for hours and hours the day before the exam. So some things that you can do to really take advantage of this exposure step is creating your own questions from the lecture material or readings that you can use to make sense of the information when you're in lecture or to answer. You can complete the pre-chapter questions. A lot of textbooks come with these pre-chapter questions. And what this does is it just primes your brain to be exposed to the information. You can look over and read the tables and figures and ask yourself, what are they highlighting? What are they really talking about? You can just attend lecture and take notes. You can just read the textbook and take notes. After class, you can try to write a summary of it. using your notes. It's just exposing yourself to information. The reason why I say that students get hung up on this step is because all they ever do is expose and expose and expose. They read and read and read and reread and reread again and write over again and write over again some more. Rewrite the textbook, rewrite their notes, reread their notes, re-listen to lecture. They just stay here all the time. But if all we had to do to get through college was show up to lecture or reread stuff or rewrite stuff, we'd all be honor students. At some point, your professor needs to make sure that you've learned what they are teaching. And right now, the way that the academic system is built, the only way they do that is through quizzes, exams, papers, and presentations. So that means that in order to do really well in your classes, you need to know what part of the information is sticking and making sense, because someone's going to see if it actually is. And you need to know what part of the information you don't understand and you don't know just yet, because those are the questions that are going to get you into trouble on the exam. This is what testing to make sure, step 2 of the study routine, is all about. This part of your study routine requires you to try and retrieve from memory the information you're supposed to be learning, because you're going to be expected to retrieve it from memory on the exam. Even with open book exams, they're asking you to apply the information, and there is no time to try to look things up. So you actually need to go in knowing it, even with open book exams. Preferably, you want to test to make sure that you understand the material and that you know it in an environment where it doesn't matter if you don't know it yet, i.e., way before the test. You want to know what you know and what you don't know way before the test. You want to test yourself to see if you actually know the information before it counts, before somebody's attaching a grade to it. Because when you do that, there is still time to fix any learning gaps that you have. The reason why step 2 of your study routine exists is so that when you realize, oh crap, I still don't have this down, you have some time to fill in those knowledge gaps. The worst time to realize that you actually didn't know the information is when you're staring at the question on the exam. The best time to realize that you don't know it yet is 3 weeks before the exam, when you're studying by yourself, because you still have 3 weeks to make sure that you know it. This part of the study routine is the part that no student does. If you're failing, if you've ever failed a class, you skipping this step is the reason why you failed. But now that you know what you don't know, what do you do about it, right? How do you fill in those knowledge gaps 3 weeks before the exam? Well, my friend, that is where step 3 of the study routine comes in, and I call it relearning. Sometimes when we learn a new topic, it doesn't make sense the first time. We won't get it right away. It doesn't mean, we don't need to attach any meaning to it. It doesn't mean that we're dumb. It doesn't mean that, oh my God, I'm not meant to be here. I'm so stupid. Let me just drop out. It's just information, guys. All it means is you have to practice it a bit more, or find a way to make the information make sense to you. Sometimes all filling in the knowledge gaps means is that you might have to watch a YouTube video or a Khan Academy video that, explains it a little bit better, or you have to go get some tutoring on it. But this process of relearning is what makes the difference between feeling like, hell yes, I'm killing it, I'm going to kill this exam, I know this, for a fact, I'm going to get an 80 or above, without a doubt. Like, that's how confident. This step is the difference between feeling like that and feeling like, crap, did we even go? I don't even remember covering this on the exam. Or when did we even talk about a question like this when you actually open up the exam? This step and step 2 make all of the difference. And these 2 steps, again, are what students usually are missing in their study routine. So what I did was I just showed you how to raise your grades in your classes by at least 10 points by just adding in 2 steps, because most of you were already doing step 1, which was exposure, but you were missing testing to make sure, and you were missing relearning. So if you just add those 2 things in, you'll be all set. So let me go back to testing to make sure and give you some things that you can do to test yourself when you're studying by yourself. Some obvious things that you can do are answer the questions in the back of the textbook without looking at your notes. If your professor gives you homework assignments or practice exams, do them, but do them without your notes in front of you, because that's going to give you a true sense of if you actually know the information. And think about it, on the exam, are you going to have your notes in front of you? No. So you want to practice in the way that you're going to be tested. You can create a page of problems and try to write which principle the problem is testing you on without looking at your notes or your book. You can create an empty compare and contrast table and try to fill in the missing parts. That's really great if you have essay exams or if you have essays where you need to write and they're like comparative essays. You can create a list of all the main topics that were covered in the lecture from today from memory. You can do that right after lecture. It's a quick way to test yourself. It'll take you about 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to another student that I had this past semester. Her name is Ariel, and she had failed out of one of her classes when she started working with me. She was really struggling. She was at risk of being kicked out of her nursing program. And she said, since working with Clarissa, I have been able to feel like a whole new person. I don't walk into lecture wondering what in the world is going on. I used to always rely on people to help me, but now my friends call and text me to ask questions about assignments. I have become confident within myself. I have a plan now thanks to Clarissa, a plan that's easy to follow and is completely doable. Now, I promised you that if you stayed until the end, I was going to give you my 3-step study method. And in the 3-step study method, you're going to get a list of all the different activities that you can do for each one of the steps. So you're going to be covered. If you stay until the end, I'm going to give you access to that. So let's talk about the YouTube trap and the trap that students fall into when it comes to creating a study routine. The trap that students fall into when it comes to creating a study routine is that they jump from strategy to strategy. And they do that because they're watching YouTube videos, right? So you're watching YouTube videos because you don't know how to study. And so you're wondering, is there somebody out there who can help me? But the problem with just watching the YouTube videos is that they're just telling you what their strategy was, but by you following their strategy, it doesn't tell you what's important to write down in lecture. You actually have to understand how to be able to pick that out from your lectures and from your textbook. Even if you watch YouTube videos, you're still not going to know how to build relationships with your professors so that they actually help you to be the top student in their class and do everything that you can to see success. Even if you watch YouTube videos, are you going to know how to accurately guess and prepare for the possible questions that might show up in the exam? I want you to answer this question in the comments right now. Do you know how to accurately guess and prepare for the possible questions that might show up on the exam? Yes or no? Do you know how to pick out and retain the main ideas from your assigned readings, your lectures, study guides, and notes? Yes or no? Do you know how to create study groups that work and that help you to walk away feeling like you got the help you wanted from the writing center or from the tutoring center and from your professor's office hours? Yes or no? If the answer is no, you're in big trouble because you're not going to know how to succeed in your class. And you're not even going to know how to utilize the resources on campus to help you to not fail. So let me ask you another question. Have you watched YouTube videos on all the things that I just mentioned and then nothing changed? You didn't see the results that you thought you were going to see with the strategies that those people gave you. Well, I want you to picture this, okay? I want you to close your eyes right now. And I want you to imagine what it would feel like to know how much time you need to spend on every assignment, reading every chapter, during every study session, before an exam, to know for sure that you would get an 80 or above. Imagine what it would feel like if you had a clear picture of what good studying looks like, the step-by-step on what you should do when you're reading, when you write notes, and when you study for an exam. I want you to picture what it would feel like to know what to write in your notes, when to review your notes, how often, so that you understood the material and excelled in the class. I want you to picture and imagine what it would feel like to know the expectations up front of what will actually show up in the exam and be able to accurately predict the questions you'll see. And more importantly, know what won't be on the exam so that you don't have to waste your time studying it, right? And I want you to picture what it would feel like to not, for once during the semester, to not feel stressed, to not feel overwhelmed, or feel like you're running around doing harried last-minute studying and last-minute cramming because you were able to keep up with everything while the semester was going. Imagine what it would feel like to not have the nerves and panic when you go to take your exam because you are fully, absolutely, completely prepared. Who here, put it in the comments, wants to learn how to do that? Who here wants to feel like that? Who here has been dying and yearning to have a college experience like that, where you can actually enjoy being a student, where you can actually enjoy your college experience, where you can actually say, I loved my life while I was in college. I loved everything that I got to experience, all the opportunities that it opened up for me. Jennifer says me. Tracia says yes. Isa says me. Awesome. So in that case, let me introduce you to study school. So I'm going to exit the screen here and stop the screen share just for a moment. And I'm going to show you study school. Study school is a 4-month experience that walks you through creating your own signature study plan that helps you to make the dean lists every semester, graduate summa cum laude, and still have plenty of free time to gain life experiences that land you letters of recommendation, get you into grad school, or if you're done with college and you're ready to go out into the real world, it'll help you land an incredible job. Study School happens live starting on September 5th, so this coming Wednesday, and it ends December 15th, so you get support for a whole semester. I want to help give you the tools and plan to raise your GPA and have more free time. But I want to tell you something. If you don't do anything right now, you'll stay exactly where you are. For me, it's not enough just to show you how to create a study routine today. I also want to help you to implement it and take action on it so you can reap all of the benefits of actually having that kind of a study routine so that you don't find yourself not being able to stick to it or being confused by it. But you have to reserve your seat. When you enroll in Study School, you're going to get a one-of-a-kind chance to deep dive into your college experience, your study strategies, and where you are right now and where you want to be with your grades. I'm going to help you to solve your struggles. Have amazing relationships with your professors that opens up a lot of opportunities for you, not only in that they're going to tell you exactly how to study, where to find the information and all that, but they're going to be there to be a resource for you, and they're going to be invested in your success so that you get things that other students on campus don't get, so that you get to experience things that other students on campus don't get, and so that you can actually feel amazing. So let's take a look at the Study School syllabus, because I want to tell you what we're going to be teaching you in Study School. So week 1 is all about decoding your classes and your professor. So this first week of Study School, which is starting this coming week, is all about cracking the code of how to get B's and above on all of your exams, papers, and group projects. You're going to learn the 3 common places your professor reveals what will be on their exams. We're going to talk about what to say to your professor to get them to tell you exactly what and how to study to ace their exams and write better papers. You're going to get templates for email and in-person conversations that you can use with your professor so that they'll respond with helpful and positive feedback that won't make you feel stupid and insecure. And you're going to know how to prioritize your reading and your assignments between all of your classes so that each and every single one of your professors feels like you spent hours studying and preparing for their lecture, but you don't. You're actually going to be spending a lot less time studying. Week 2 is all about writing notes that you can understand and how to get the most out of your lectures and reading so that you stop rewriting the books and guessing what's important and what's not. And also, if you're spending 15 hours commuting, like I saw one of you spending, you can do most of your studying when you're in lecture, so that those 15 hours that you spend studying, you can do a lot of step 2 of the study process and be super prepared, and also have time to like read your own stuff on the train or the public transit, whatever. You're going to learn in week 2 the magic method to leveraging your textbook, PowerPoint slides, and lectures so your notes contain a simplified version of the class content that you can remember and understand and use to pass your next exam. You're going to learn the 10 words that your professors use in their syllabus to reveal what information and how the information is going to be turned into exam questions. And you're going to learn how to write your notes to adjust for it. Week 3 is all about creating your signature study guide and plan. You're going to strategically spend less time studying without letting your goals of making the dean's list die by learning what to physically do during all of your study time. So we'll talk about the 5 different ways to create study guides and tools that won't waste your time a lot of the times, like flashcards, but we do have a method to use your flashcards that works 10 times better than the way that you're currently using it. You're going to get templates to help you create and prepare for exam questions and essay prompts. And you're going to learn all of the ins and outs of using the #1 study method of the top students in your college. Week 4 is all about fixing your failed exams. So you're going to learn how to tweak and adjust your study methods if you happen to get a lower grade than you hoped. And with this, we'll go over how to actually talk to your professors about the feedback that they're giving you, or about, possible questions that you got wrong in the exam, so that you can use it. Like I said, failure is feedback. So what do you do when you don't get a grade that you want? How do you talk to your professors so that they tell you how to fix it for the next exam so that this doesn't keep happening? We also talk about what to change in your study routine to pass the next exam, because a lot of students will just throw the baby out with the bathwater, and you might not need to do that. It might not have even had anything to do with your study routine. It could have just been that you were making silly mistakes, like forgetting to, roll over a number or reread the question so that you were picking the right answer. We talk about what to do with all that. Week 5 is about creating study groups that work, because study groups are a great way to break the monotony of studying and boost your grades. And they help you to prevent procrastination, because what's happening is you have somebody holding you accountable. But they only work if they're run right. So we're going to talk about the 3 rules that your study group must follow. How to find the right study crew without making it awkward, because sometimes it doesn't work out. So how do you break it up when it doesn't work out? We're going to talk about what to do during your study group sessions so that you guys don't waste the entire time just gossiping, and you can actually feel like it was worth your time. And dividing up group projects and dealing with students who are not doing their work in the group projects. How do you deal with those situations? And why aren't colleges teaching us how to deal with that? Week 6 is all about mapping out your papers and final exam study plans. The end of the semester can get really crazy overwhelming with multiple assignments and exams due in the same week. This week is all about how to handle it all without feeling like you're drowning. We go over my 3-step plan to studying for finals. When you have 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in the same week, we're going to talk about the 5-step roadmap to writing A papers that you can't procrastinate on writing. And we're going to teach you, how to build up your grade to passing in the final stretch if you're there. And that's just the lessons. Like, I haven't even gotten into the good stuff. So in addition to all of that, inside of study school, if you decide to enroll, you're going to get weekly 90-minute study skills coaching sessions. This is the time and place where I'm showing up for you just like I am now, except I'm on video. And you get my eyes on your study routine. You get personalized feedback from me. I take a look at your notes. I help you write. I've used this time to help students write emails to their professors to get extensions or to get a boost in their grades or extra credit. Any academic topic that you're struggling with, I will help you with it on these 90-minute study skills coaching sessions that you get every single week. They happen every Thursday. You're also going to get weekly feedback on your notes, papers, and study plans. If you submit them for feedback, each week you'll have one of the academic experts inside of study schools give you personalized feedback on how to improve your time management, how to improve your note-taking, how to improve your study plan, and how to improve your paper writing. I also teach you all about organization using an app called Trello, using Google Calendar, using another app called Asana. So if you love your paper planner, but also want to keep yourself organized and be reminded and get reminders on your phone of what you need to get done, this workshop, we're going to go over how to set all of that up so that you get more done this semester and procrastinate less. For my paper-loving people, we also have 4 monthly planning sessions. So at the end of every month, together, we'll plan out the next 30 days of your academic calendar. If you decide you'll be paired up with a study partner, this person can help keep the momentum going and hold you accountable for hitting the academic goals you're striving for with study school. I had 2 girls last semester who utilized the study partner so much. They were both keeping each other accountable inside of their programs. They went to 2 completely different schools, but they were taking similar classes and they were there cheering each other on, being supportive to each other, and they really enjoyed that study partner experience. I also bring in guest experts. And these guest experts that I'll be bringing in will give you insider tips and tricks on how to earn scholarships. They talk about career opportunities, relationships, organization, how professors think, confidence. I bring in people to talk about health and fitness while you're in college, mental wellness while you're in college, all of these things that help you really have a well-rounded experience. And then every now and then I love to send surprise snail mail in the mail. So if you are, if this sounds like, who here thinks that this is going to help them this semester? Who here is like, oh my God, this is exactly what I need? Let me know in the comments. Yes, this is what I need. Because I know with this support, you can save yourself countless hours. You can save yourself so much money and so much frustration this semester by doing it alone, by not doing it alone. Right now, I have 30 spots remaining. Study school will fill up really fast. It fills up every semester. And today is actually the last day to enroll if you want to start with us on September 5th. So what is this worth to you? I mean, this will literally give you the power to change your academic experience forever. If all study school did was help you to raise your grade by 10 points, would that be worth it to you? I hope that you can see this is an opportunity that you do not want to pass up. Because information alone, watching YouTube videos over and over alone is not going to save you. Action is the only thing that produces results. And so if you're interested in study school, this is what it's going to take. Your investment is one payment of $997, or you can break up the payments into 4 monthly payments of $249.25. And if you are one of the first 10 women to enroll with the pay in full option, you are also going to get the College Productivity Kit. The College Productivity Kit is a planner that I created specifically for college students that has all of the study methods built in, that has things built in that help keep you accountable, ways to track your goals, and you're going to get this for free if you're one of the first 10 women who enroll with the pay in full option. So what I want to do now is I want to leave you with a testimonial from one of the students, because I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to actually see that study school works from someone other than me. So let's take a look at what McKenna has to say about study school.
Hi everyone, my name is McKenna, and Clarissa asked me to record this little video about my experience with study school because I was part of her study school group in this last spring. So prior to enrolling in study school, I was really struggling with confidence in myself and in my ability as a student, and I'm sure like a lot of you, I felt like I wasn't cut out for college. I studied a lot, but I just didn't feel like I was really confident in my methods or confident in myself, and I didn't really feel like I had a set routine for myself, and so I was kind of feeling lost about what to do. And since completing study school, all of that has been remedied. I have a routine, I have a method, I have a plan. It's not hard for me to figure out what to do. It's not hard for me to figure out how to study or how to talk to professors. And I have so much more confidence in not only my academic ability, but also in every other part of my life that has really translated. And so if you're considering enrolling in study school, I would highly recommend it. Clarissa walks the talk that she preaches, and she really cares so deeply about every one of the people that she works with, and she is available for questions all semester long, and it really did change my life. Not only did it change my academic career, but it changed my life. So if you're thinking in enrolling, I would highly recommend it, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Thanks, bye.
Isn't McKenna just the cutest? She's one of my favorite students. I absolutely love her. And so if you're interested in enrolling in study school, let me go ahead and pop in the link into the YouTube sphere here so that you guys have it. All right, so I just popped the link in there. Let me go back to sharing my screen with you because I want to touch on something else. If you sign up in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to put a timer on my phone. So right now it is 12:15. So if you enroll by 12:30, you're also going to get 2 private 45-minute sessions with me. It costs students $3,500 to work with me for an entire semester. And it costs students $997 to have just 2 private sessions with me. You're getting all of that plus study school for just $997 if you sign up in the next 15 minutes. And like I said, it's 12:15 right now. So if you sign up by 12:30, then you will qualify for those 2 private one-on-one sessions with me. And students have said that it is worth the price of study school alone because of how engaged I am with students. I am so invested in your success. I'm so invested in seeing you succeed and raise your grades and learn how to study that you get all of me during these sessions. And there are girls on here right now who have had sessions with me who can tell you how I show up for them, who can tell you how valuable these lessons, these sessions are with me. But you have to sign up while you're still on this workshop in order to qualify. So why study school? Because we're going to deep dive into your college experience, study strategies, and where you are right now with your grades. We're going to focus on your personal academic struggles and how to solve them. You get me for 4 months. Every week I'm showing up for you. And not only that, you submit your questions, you submit your homework. I'm going to give you feedback on papers and notes and all of these things every single week so that you know whether or not you're on the right track, so that you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you don't even have to leave your house. I'm going to show you how to get your professors to tell you what to focus. They're going to tell you what to focus on. They're going to tell you how to see success. So it's not guessing anymore. You don't have to worry about it. You're going to learn how to create organization and planning systems that are going to just enhance the study skills. And obviously, you're going to learn all the study strategies and more. But I want to show you some more testimonials. Here's one from Victoria. Victoria said, "Dear Miss Rodriguez," that's my last name, "thank you. I received over 100 again on my second test. Now just studying for my final. Thank you so much." Ruthie said, "Hi, Clarissa. I'm so grateful for the tips you gave me. I took the exam and my grade went up by 15 points. I got a 75% from a 62.5%. I passed." And this is a student who had been struggling over the summer to pass one of her exams. And just in one session with me, this is what happened. "I did your plan in 10 days. I'm gradually pulling it up. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep doing it." Vanessa said, "Hey, Clarissa, I never got a chance to thank you for our strategy call. I know I did not quite master my study skills last schedule, but this was the first time in all of my time in the university that I feel like I actually learned stuff that I will remember long term. I can remember a lot of the concepts from my bio class that I never thought I could. Also, I got A's in all of my other classes and earned my highest GPA last semester." Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be able to retain information that they're learning and have the highest GPA they've ever had? Again, be the first 2 to sign up on this call and get a physical copy of the College Productivity Kit. And again, it is a planner that I have specifically created for college students to help them get more done this semester. But you have to sign up on the workshop. You can secure your spot inside of study school by going to sherocksatcollege.com/study-school. I also put a link in the comments for you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share now, and I'm going to go to YouTube and answer any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And I'm going to take the next 10 minutes and answer any questions. So if you have any questions about anything we talked about today, any questions about study school, now is your opportunity to ask. The Learning Ella says, hey, Clarissa, I have watched so many videos and texted so many YouTubers, but all in vain. I'm having a hard time. I can never complete my daily targets, like never, ever, no matter short, I make it help. Oh, I am not sure what you meant by that question. If you want to go ahead and retype it, I'll be happy to answer it. One Peaceful Deja says, I use 2 study guides that I print off that also help me with my time and really learn what I'm studying. Yep, that's a great method. It's one of the methods that I teach. Tracia Price says, I don't watch them anymore and unsubscribe from all the ones that I used to follow. That's awesome. Denise Wright says, thank you. This info is extremely helpful. You are very welcome, Denise. Irina B says, I'm only in step 1 right now, not close enough to step 2. You can do step 2 at any point. Marieli says, thank you for everything you do. You're so welcome, Marieli. Tasha says, Clarissa is the truth, and she gets it done while teaching you how to get it done too. I love you, Tasha. Thank you so much for that. Carrie's here. She is a senior in high school. Tracy. I've been pronouncing it wrong all the time. So Tracy, I'm from Maryland. I am an online student at Southern New Hampshire University. My major is psychology with a concentration in mental health. Sorry that I've been pronouncing your name wrong. Bridger Pepper says, how do you apply this to the GRE? Great freaking question. So I have worked with a lot of students who are studying for medical boards. So they've already graduated medical school and are studying for their boards. I have worked with students who are studying for the MCATs. I've also worked with students who are studying for the LSAS and GRE. So the way that you apply this is that all this is learning how to learn. And if you learn how to learn, it doesn't matter what you're studying. It doesn't matter if you're doing online classes. It doesn't matter if you're studying for a standardized test. It doesn't matter if you are in a traditional academic college setting. The 3-step method works across the board because you still need to expose yourself to the GRE content. You still need to test yourself because the GRE is going to test you. So how do you use those practice tests? How do you use them to your advantage? You're going to learn how to do that. And you also need to relearn, because when you are getting these practice tests from the GRE back, what do you do when you're seeing that you keep getting information wrong in these sections? How do you, and so that you are making sure that the areas where you're scoring really low on go up without sacrificing the other areas where you were already scoring high? All this is learning how to learn, learning how to study. It doesn't matter what the content area is, and it doesn't matter what type of a format you're actually studying in. Does this study method help students in 11th grade? I know I'm way off. It can help students in 11th grade because, again, it's all about studying. And so you might not have professors, but you have teachers. Everything that we talk about inside of study school can help you if you're in the 11th grade. It's just going to be a little bit geared more towards college students, meaning the words I use, I'm going to say college student a lot, but it's, again, learning how to learn. If you're looking for somebody who specifically helps college students, I would check out Gretchen Wegner. Let me type her name in for you, Gretchen Wegner. If you type her name into Google, you'll be able to find her website, and she works a lot with high school students, and she teaches a lot of the methods that I teach as well. One Peaceful Deja, you are so welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed my planner method. Any other questions? We still have 6 minutes left. Bridger, if you still have questions about the GRE, feel free to send me a private email. You can send it to hello@sherocksatcollege.com. And I'll be happy to answer your questions. We still have 5 minutes left. So if you have questions about your anything really academic related, if you already started classes and you have questions, or if you have questions about study school, or if you have questions about the 3-step study method that we went over, now is your opportunity. Just checking on my phone too as well, just to make sure that I don't miss anything there. You're welcome. I always tell students that they have 2 choices. They can let me help them create their study routine and raise their GPA, or they can close out of the screen and do exactly the same thing that they've been doing without seeing any results. It really comes down to what you value, what's important to you, and whether or not you want to do this on your own, or if you want to cut down on the time that it takes and really be able to enjoy your college experience. I created study schools specifically for college girls who, don't give up easily, who aren't afraid of hard work, who are determined to get their degrees, students who understand the impact that passing these courses is going to have on their college education, how it's going to impact their career, their future income, their future family, their self-confidence, and the way that she's going to live her life moving forward. I love working with women who believe deep down that they are smart enough, talented enough, and worthy enough of college and life success. I mean, that's the girl I freaking love working with. I love working with women who are so driven by consistently watching themselves improve and squeezing every ounce of potential out of themselves that she's going to do what it takes. My most successful students are action takers, not the students who sit on the fence, not the students who just make up excuses and don't want to do the work in order to see themselves succeed. I want you to be the college student who is ready to take action. So if you have any questions about study school at all, you can always email me. My email is up above, or just go check out the study school page. Go look at it. See if it's something that you know can help you this semester. Shania, I have a whole video over on my Facebook page on how to set up the college productivity kit. So this planner, I did a whole setup guide on my Facebook page. So we have 2 minutes for anyone who's considering enrolling in study school and you want to take advantage of the 2 additional one-on-one calls that you get with me. at 12:30, that offer is going bye-bye. You're very welcome, Shania. When you fill it out, send me a picture. Like, post it on Facebook so I can see it. All right, it's 12:30, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday. I hope that today's workshop was helpful for you, that you took away something from it, something to add to your study routine. And since you stayed until the end, I promised you that I would give you that worksheet to create your study routine. So let me go ahead and put that in here. Make sure that you click on it right now, that you get access to it. And I will see you guys the next time I go live here on YouTube. Bye.